Everyone thinks remote sales is just closing deals on Zoom and banking $20,000 months. And as much as that can be the case, it's not always how it works. Now, there are two very different roles driving this industry, and if you want to succeed, you're going to have to understand how they both work. I'm Kris Cochrane, and over the past 10 years, I've closed over $20 million in high-ticket sales and have helped hundreds of people transition from dead-end 9-to-5s into this awesome space of remote sales. And today, I'm breaking down the two most important roles in remote high-ticket sales: appointment setting and closing. Now, by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly which pathway aligns with your personality, your experience, your situation, and your income goals. Now, before we get into it, you're gonna need to understand the remote sales ecosystem that you're entering. Here's how the machine actually works. Now, step one before any selling is done is marketing. Now, companies are spending tens of thousands of dollars on ads and producing content and posting on social media to get eyeballs to attract leads, which brings me to step two, which is lead capture, where the prospect now enters their details into the system, which shows up in the company CRM, which brings us to step three, which is appointment setting, which is where salespeople through phone, text, direct message contact leads to qualify and also to book qualified sales appointments for the closers, which is step four. Senior sales reps are taking calls to convert qualified prospects into new clients. Now, think of this like a restaurant. Marketing gets people in the door, setters seat them at the right table, and closers take their order and they get them to pay the bill at the end. Now, here's the insight that most people miss. Both roles, you're dealing with warm leads. You're not cold calling random strangers from the internet. These people have shown interest. They've risen their hand and they want more information. Now, that fact changes everything about how you approach both of these roles. Let's look at both of these roles and we'll compare them side by side. First, we'll look at the appointment setter. Now, let's destroy a massive myth. Appointment setters are not telemarketers. You're not cold calling. You're not calling people who know nothing about your company. But here's what you actually do as an appointment setter. You follow up with people who've shown genuine interests. You qualify those prospects through the conversations that you have over the phone, through text, through the DMs, and you book qualified appointments for closers, and you act as the bridge between marketing and sales. Now, this pathway is perfect for you if you're just starting out in sales and you want to learn sales without the pressure of closing. Now, you can earn $200 or $500 or more per appointment that closes, which isn't bad for some Instagram messages or making some phone calls. We've looked at the appointment setter, let's look at the closer. Now, this is where the big money lives, but it comes with bigger expectations. So what do closers actually do? They jump on Zoom calls with pre-qualified prospects. They guide consultative sales conversations. They handle objections and they close deals, and they build relationships with prospects and they nurture their pipeline with valuable content. Now, this pathway is perfect for you if you've got a high level of sales confidence, which can be built, by the way, in the setter role. You're also comfortable with higher pressure situations and you want to maximize your earning potential to its highest capacity. You also need to be willing to invest pretty heavily in your skill development. Here's a reality check. Closing is simple, but it's not always easy. There is a difference. The process is straightforward, but mastering it requires a lot of dedication, a lot of practice, and constant improvement. We've looked at the roles, let's look at the cash. Here's where it gets interesting. I'm gonna give you realistic numbers, not the inflated BS that you see in Facebook ads. Now, first, let's look at the appointment setter. At a base level, if you're an appointment setter and you set 20 appointments per week and you had a 30% close rate on those appointments, which means 6 deals closed, and the average deal size was $7,500, and you're earning 3% commission, which is $225 per deal, your monthly commissions would be $5,400. At a base of $1,500 up to $3,000, and we're talking pretty decent numbers for an entry-level role. Now, a high performer scenario, which might be 50 appointments per week with a $10,000 average sale, higher close rates, performance bonuses, your monthly earnings can be $8,000 or up to $10,000 or even more, which is not bad. So that's setters. Let's look at the closer economics. If you took 25 calls per week, which is 5 per day, you had a 20% close rate, you'd close 20 deals in the month. If the average order value was $7,500 with a 10% commission, that'd be $750 per deal, and your monthly earnings would be $15,000. You'd also have bonuses, might take you up to $16,000 or even $18,000. If you were elite though, you'd have higher close rates, 35% or more. You'd be selling a higher ticket offer, $15,000, $20,000, or even $50,000. You might have team leadership bonuses. Your monthly earnings can be $40,000 or even up to $100,000. That's not out of the question. With all that said, we should just all jump into closing straight away because it pays better. Well, not necessarily, because not everyone is capable of closing when they start out. And you should start as a setter if you are are new to sales and you want to learn the ropes and you prefer lower pressure environments initially, a nice environment to learn. If you're also building confidence in sales conversations and you're also comfortable with text-based communication, which can happen a lot in appointment setting roles. Now you can go straight to closer if you've got some sales experience or natural confidence. You want to maximize your earning potential immediately. You enjoy consultative conversations. You're willing to invest in some training and you can handle rejection. Now the brutal truth is your success has nothing to do with which role that you choose and everything to do with your commitment to mastering it. Now I've seen setters outperform closers, out-earn closers because they've got an absolute dedication to mastering this skill. And I've also seen closers burn out really quickly because they thought this role was going to be easy money. Again, it's simple, not easy. Now the real factors that determine your success are going to come down to skill development. All great salespeople have invested heavily in sales training. I know exactly 0 naturally elite salespeople who haven't completed any training. You also need to have the right offer. To be successful, you have to work with companies that have proven products. Also, lead quality. The company should also be generating warm, qualified leads every day. And finally, your mindset. You should always be working on your mindset and your attitude because sales, it's going to squeeze you. It's going to test you and you need to be resilient, and that's something that you have to work on. Now, my recommendation, if you're completely new to remote sales, then start as a setter. Learn the fundamentals, build confidence, understand the industry, and then transition to closing when you're ready. Now, if you have sales experience and you want to maximize your income immediately, go straight to closing, but make sure you get the right training first. Remember, this isn't about picking the better role. It's about picking the role that aligns with where you are right now and where you want to go. Both pathways can lead to financial freedom, location freedom, and complete independence. So drop me a comment. Let me know below what resonates with you most. Are you wanting to be an appointment setter or are you wanting to be a closer? I read every comment and I often reply with specific information based upon your specific situation. And if you're wanting to dive deeper into remote sales, check out these videos where I break down more of how to land a role and how to succeed in remote sales. And don't forget to subscribe because I drop new content every week. Until next time, remember, if you focus on building high-paying skills, the freedom is going to follow. I'll see you next time.